Hello, this is the Tradesight Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday the 3rd and Friday the 4th of November 2016. Hope you're having a good week. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. So the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, which is the proper technical way to look at the market. There's the actual correct front month chart. And as you can see, we're hanging near the lows of the last few months, but it's been in a narrow range. Our 13 sell signal is still in place. As of today, when I go to projection mode, we are now 8 bars down on a new startup phase. So one more of those, and that actually gets you the target of the 13 sell signal. Either that or we hit the red line. So basically, this is about done in terms of reaching a target. It doesn't mean you can't go lower. It just means that the exhaustion has finally worn off after all this time. Interesting. This is a preview for Thursday and Friday. We typically don't do market previews for Friday, as most of what we've talked about over the course of the week has kind of played out at that point. Hasn't been a super exciting week. We did have the Fed announcement today. As you'll see in a minute when we do the intraday action, didn't do much. Crude oil closes up 43 cents at 45.77. That's still down for the last several days. Gold closes up $9.40. S&P cash index loses 13.78. Now breaking the red static trend line there. There's an example right there, by the way. When you look at the cash index, you get the 13 sell signal there a couple months ago. Similar in time to the futures one. The futures one is the one I care about more. But the red line would be the target of that signal. We've hit the target. Now we're still going lower. That's fine. It just means that we've done what we needed to do off of that signal. The signal works 70, 75, 80% of the time. So, it's supposed to get there. NDX lost 40 points today. The stocks is down 5.51, which is a blip. Biotechs were down 50.99. That's a new low since the start of July, or it's a new low for the second half of the year, let's call it. The VIX up again, up 76 cents to 1932. The trend gets a high close at 1.33. That keeps that 10-day moving average from getting too low. NASDAQ volume 1.9 billion. I will point out, though, if we look at the stock brocade in particular, with the earnings and stuff, whether with the buyout and stuff, it traded over 100 million shares. It usually trades about 3 million. So that's about 100 million shares right there, more than normal. So you can back that out. You get about a 1.8 billion share day on the NASDAQ, which is still the best we've seen all month. But, again, a lot of it was post-Fed announcement, and we didn't really move. So we'll see. Hopefully that translates into better stuff on Thursday now that we're through all this. Here's the advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ, negative 15.44. Advanced decline ratio on the New York, negative 15.51. Almost exactly the same number. Google loses $17.06. It's a pretty decent sell-off for Google over the last 3 days. Apple up 10 cents. Amazon loses $19.85, approaching its red static trend line. Netflix down 96 cents. Tesla down $2.77. We had this as a trade, and it didn't really break hard. We may put this back up for tomorrow. If it breaks this base, it does not look good on Tesla if it cracks today's lows, so keep that in mind. All right, let's look at the intraday action. Here's the ES, and again, Tuesday we had a decent move, but Wednesday was just sort of a flat opening. We jerked around for about an hour, didn't do much. Dipped a little bit. Lunchtime was pretty flat, and then finally broke a little bit lower by a couple points. You can see the Fed announcement comes out. We kind of wiggled down and came back up and closed. Nothing really exotic happened here. Here's the NASDAQ side, pretty much the same story. We did not quite get a 13 buy signal, which means, interestingly, by the way, that tomorrow morning, if the first candle is any kind of gap down, that's going to be a 13 buy signal on the Comer on the 5-minute chart. So we'll see what happens. So we are past all of earnings. All of the Fed and everything, and we're past the end of the month, which was Monday. We're past the Halloween holiday. We have a lot of economic data left this week, and that's the one thing that you got to watch. Obviously, we've got the election on Tuesday of next week. That'll probably be a slow day while everybody out voting. But whether the market stays slow between here and there, as it kind of has been, or now starts to pick up, hard to say. Economic data coming out. Challenger job cuts at 7:30 a.m. Initial and continuing jobless claims, that's the weekly number, along with unit labor costs and preliminary productivity for Q3. That's all an hour before the bell tomorrow. Factory orders and ISM services 30 minutes in at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The weekly natty gas number at 10:30. That's an hour in. And then you've got on Friday still non-farm payrolls with unemployment rate. Not that that's going to do much to change the election at this point. And also trade balance, which can be a big number. All that an hour before the bell, and that'll wrap up the week. This Saturday is the time change here in the U.S. Keep that in mind. Going into Sunday, so that means that Most of the country sets its clocks differently. We don't do it here in Arizona, so I just get to sleep in an extra hour, which is a bonus. November next week, like I said, it's the election day on Tuesday. We'll talk about all that in the preview of the markets that we'll put up over the weekend. As for now, hopefully we get a decent trading day Thursday. Not sure that you're going to see much on Friday as usual, unless there's some surprises and there's big economic data that's coming out. And that's it. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday and Friday.